Welcome back to the Let's Stay Together talk show. Now here is your host, Reverend Rick McCain and author Brenda McCain.
Hey, welcome back to the McCain Train. Thank you for joining us. Now we are about to go in our segment of Making Marriage Work. But before we get into that, I want to just say something about our train schedule here. Join the Joseph Assignment Global Initiative along with Dr. Ian Smith as we collect bottled waters to donate to those in need at Flint, Michigan. The drop-off sealed and unopened bottles or cartons of water, you could drop that off at New Faith Baptist Church office at 25 South Central Avenue, Madison, Illinois, or make a financial contribution on our website at josephassignment.org. Of course, that's www.josephassignment.org. Next train schedule. Election date March 15, 2016. Elect D. Renee Jackson for Circuit Court of Cook County Judge for 2nd Judicial Subcircuit. To learn more about Attorney D. Renee Jackson, visit www.electdreneejacksonforjudge.org.
All right, so we're going to be talking about making marriage work. We're going to have our caller call in a few minutes in regards to making marriage work. We've recapped the show here. We've been talking about the next stop with Rodney Pate. Make sure I say that right now before I have my correction people in here. We did the McCain Train Express. We talked about motivational mojo, where Brenda, after 21 years, finally wants to do things right.
Please.
We had the point of view by Donna Terrell. Donna, thank you very much for always providing an excellent point of view. She always has some good things out there for us. You learned about what the McCain Train, going through Brenda going to the window instead of just smelling my food and eating it. Heart to Heart was talking about just encouraging yourself when other people may not believe in your visions and dreams. Inspirational Corner, Tracy gave an eloquent and very heartfelt story about helping someone, when trials and tribulations at your job and you get someone who really needs help and God has placed that person into your life and that phone call comes together. It's wonderful how things work together for good for those who love the Lord. So we were talking about that, and now we're talking about news break. We're waiting for our caller to call in right now, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in you guys' life. So, Tracy, other than that, what's going on? How things going with you?
Things are going really good, and I was really glad to see Rodney here because one of the things I'm doing, as everybody knows, Brenda and I are talking about trying to get that good weight down this year, and I'm feeling better, and I'm doing things to, encourage myself to stay positive, and so mentally and physically, I am working on feeling better, and I do.
Yeah, and so I heard you say Brenda is telling you this. You working out?
Oh, we are.
I've been on that treadmill, and I do my sit-ups every day, so don't act like you don't know.
I'm home with you, and the treadmill is saying that he ain't seen you in a while.
No.
That's she did. She was talking to me when she was on the treadmill, and we
No.
heard the eloquent story of my booty. So, ooh.
Yeah, I got videotaped that all she did was have the treadmill running.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, so we got a joke around. She has been working out. Hey, we've got our call on the line right now. Mr. Grant, how you doing?
I'm good.
Well, hello, Sherwood.
Yeah.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you for calling us, sir, and to talk about the Making Marriage Work with the holistic exercise for married couples. I know you deal with a lot of different couples, but we're just going to kind of talk a little bit about having couples come together to exercise. Sherwood, do you have a lot of couples that come to you to work out together for exercising?
Well, you know what? I have had a couple of couples in the past, but I get majority like mother, daughter, but I have had a handful of couples, husband and wife.
Okay, so what is it about couples that don't seem like they want to work together? Because I noticed that a lot. You can go anywhere, and the wife don't want to work out with the husband don't want to work out with the wife. Is it, the Bible says, how can two, kind together unless they agree? Is there some kind of a compete or they just don't want to agree to do things? Why doesn't that not happen? What do you think?
Well, you know what I think. Well, first of all, hopefully you're not getting the feedback, because I'm getting the feedback here.
Okay, well, we're not getting the feedback that much, so
Good.
You may want to move away from wherever you're next to so you don't hear the feedback, but you're fine on our end.
Okay, good.
So what are you going to
Well,
say
I think
about that?
what generally happens is that you have a lot of couples that, if they are working together at home, if they're working together outside of any type of social environment, it's hard to get them to come together and become focused on just them as an individual when they're there together.
I agree.
Okay, Sherwood, I'm going to get right on into this. Is there such a thing, really, that achieving physical and spiritual, holistic fitness, can it actually work, putting those two together?
Definitely it can work.
Explain.
There's this process of just, if individuals say, hey, you know what, we're going to have a plan and we're going to work together with this plan. I love when people work together. I encourage individuals to support one another, because it's hard to say if you go home and you have a dietary habit that you're trying to put in place and your mate is doing something else. You know, if you're trying to have a meal that's healthy and going to promote good health, but then your mate come in with, fast food, it really poses a challenge on individuals.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, man, because I'm trying to lose all this weight, and my wife making a cheesecake. And I'm like,
please.
what? I'm trying to lose weight, and you bringing a cheesecake. And so I can understand what you're talking about, Sherwood, because you want to be on one accord with each other. So help me out with her, because she needs to stop bringing those cheesecakes into the house. Mm-hmm. But explain to me, what is holistic?
Well, holistic means that not only are you concerned with the physical aspect, but there's a mental, spiritual, emotional dieting that you must perform. So instead of the things you listen to, the things you watch, the company that you keep, all this affects the energies that you take in.
So basically, you're saying it's a lifestyle.
Exactly. It's a lifestyle, but it's not just one just focused on weight. A lot of people, when they think about exercise, they really focus on weight, or they're focused on trying to battle some sort of dis-ease of some sort.
And so the holistic program, if I was interested in that, what would I need to do to be a part of a holistic? I can't even say it anymore. I'm going to say holy.
I was going to say this.
Holistic program. I'm still saying holy. How would I get involved in that program to help me move forward with balancing mentally and physically?
Well, there's first a mindset that must be acquired. When we talk about holistic transformation, you have to understand that you're moving with purpose, and that everything you do, everything you say, it has to have a purpose. And if the purpose is to become more connected with yourself, more connected with the universe, you'll find that your choices will be in line with one another on a daily basis. So mentally, you have to say you want to make sure you take good diets of good energy in from what you say and what other people say to you. Emotionally, you want to have, you want to tap into your spirit so you can express yourself, that someone can understand yourself. Galatians 5:22-23 talks about the fruits of the Spirit. And those things need to be applied even when it comes to taking care of yourself as an individual, but collectively as a unit, as a family, as a husband and wife. So the holistic approach is just that of making decisions that are sound and progressive.
So basically, you have to get your mind right and change your point of view of how you think of working out.
Correct. And not even just that. The working out part is kind of easy. It's more just, are you going to do this for a lifetime? What are you going to do for a lifetime? what kind of choices can you see yourself making that's going to improve who you are, but not take away from what you enjoy? So there's this state of balance that takes place. And when it comes with family, it's so important that everybody is on the same page, or otherwise, you can't slave for two masters. It is the bottom line. You can't have two masters being slave for. One is slaving for trying to be progressive, but then the other is like, hey, I really don't care right now.
Yeah, and it's very important what you said, because what happens a lot of times for me, I changed that I was eating things. I'm eating more vegetables. I'm eating more fruit. And it's coming a lifestyle for me now that I'm doing that. Instead of me maybe eating a donut for breakfast, I'm eating, just an apple with a little peanut butter or something like that. I'm changing the whole way I'm eating things. But it takes a little time to do that, Sherwood. How do I go through those baby steps to get to that new way of eating and thinking mentally?
If you think of it like a relationship, it takes time to have a very good, healthy relationship. Very rarely do you just jump into the relationship and everything just run very smoothly. There's going to be some challenges. There's going to be some compromise. So the same must take place when you're trying to make this holistic or make this transition of a better lifestyle. Just know what you can tackle, and each and every day you try to improve upon that foundation. Sometimes people need to just wipe the foundation clean and start totally with a clean slate, and then build upon that each and every day, each and every week. But knowledge is power. That's the real thing right here. A lot of people are confused. I know, like you may mention the vegetables. Well, since this is a family-oriented and spiritual-oriented conversation, I love sharing the scripture at Genesis 1:29 and 30, where man was told to eat food that grew above the ground, that grew in trees, that come from a seed and has a seed in it. So when you start looking at food that has seeds in them and grows above the ground, vegetables wouldn't be the first choice that I say, unless it has a seed in it. So when you start to seek more accurate knowledge, man, it comes to you, and you'll be surprised that learning how to eat food that has been around for eons and was enjoyed, we can go back to that same kind of place. Yeah. Because that's what people's real struggle is enjoying food, and then therefore having a yearning to eat this type of food. The chemical-laden food, the preservatives, additive food, the GMO food, it has confused us a lot of times, and so we really feel that we want these foods, but we really don't.
Hey, sure. This is Tracy, and I want to kind of go back to this couple situation because I've got someone asking about, is there a mental battle between couples because one or the other thinks they are fat or need to work out, and how do you get that balance? Because we also tend to, as couples, to blame each other for their weight gain. And I kind of get that because I was always much bigger than my ex-husband, and I felt bad. I didn't want to work out with him. What do you think about that?
Ooh, that's a good one.
He was a little bitty shrimp.
Y'all got me so much of a disadvantage because I keep hearing myself talk to this phone, so I'm doing the best I can.
So did you want to get a question?
Let me see. I want to start because you asked, I think, about three of them right there.
I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. Well, first of all, I think there is a mental battle that may take place because you have individuals, they're coming from a good space, but yet it still is really difficult for your mate to really show that love without being offended. Because we want to be everything to our mate. We want our mate to look at us, and we don't want to feel that there's any disapproval at all, that we have or that you feel that your mate may have. So there is this mental battle, and sometimes, unfortunately, we just, as mates, we just don't, step up to the plate and really push our mate, to improve themselves because they feel like that's just going to cause a lot more stress into the relationship. Yes. But I come from a space that if you want better, you must seek better. Yeah. And sometimes you got to give some tough love. So, yeah, if you are the mate in the relationship and you have bad habits and you see that your bad habits are affecting your other mate, man, you got to really look in the mirror and check that. Because you don't want your mate, we want to be with our mates till death do us part, but that doesn't mean lead them to death, And unfortunately, we got to be real about this situation right now, because we get a lot of people is getting premature, transitions in life, and it's all due to the choice. So if, as a mate, and you love your mate, and you want the best for them, then hey, sometimes you gotta say, hey, listen, baby, we got to get to changing our diet. We got to prepare our meals. Enjoy. Get in the kitchen and prepare meals together. Go shopping together. Do some things collectively that shows that you love yourself and you love your mate, and then therefore you'll find that there's no mental challenges there. But there is this, this thing about motivation, and I think that's why a lot of mates don't work out together, because some mates can motivate one another, but you see your mate getting it done, guess what? You want them to do a little bit more. Right. And you want them to do a little bit more because you want them to hurry up and get there, because you can truly see the beauty of the person that's inside, but sometimes you feel like it's not matching with the exterior. So when you start to see it coming to fruition, you want it. Everybody appreciates it. And not saying that there's anything negative at all, but we all go through transitions. But, sometimes we hold ourselves back and we can be our worst enemies.
Sherwood, speaking of transition, how many weeks did it take you to transform your body?
Oh, you know what? I actually took all but 12 weeks. For anyone to make any significant transition, it will only take you 12 weeks if you have a plan. If you have a plan that's mapped out, 12 weeks, 4 hours a week, 6 times a day. I remember it like it was yesterday in 1999 that, I got onto a little program, and I knew a little of nothing back then. And but it was 4 weeks of dedication. 12 weeks of dedication, but only 4 hours a week. And if I knew what I knew now, man, you can reach your goals in a lot quicker fashion. All you got to do is be consistent, and you have some accurate knowledge. Accurate knowledge, that's the key right there, because you hear there's a lot of confusion out here in the health and fitness field. So you hear somebody talking about, oh, you got to get this much protein, and you got to get this, and you got to eat that. And when I step back and take a look at things, the holistic approach is, for instance, hey, in the morning, don't eat a dead carcass. Don't eat cow's mucus. Why? It doesn't make sense. Your body just got up to break a fast, and now it wants to eliminate. Everybody's trying to have a bowel movement or a urine elimination. So then, therefore, why not eat foods that help enhance the elimination? So get a salad, get a smoothie, have both. Get that in the morning time. Don't start your day with a dead carcass or the amniotic fluids of a chicken. Why would you do that?
Well, the way you put it really makes you don't want to eat that.
Hey, they're up here listening to you. I know Tracy got another question, but I got to ask you about, so you don't like my vegetables? I'm not supposed to be, because I can get rid of vegetables now.
Well, you know what? When a person say that, I usually listen to an individual, and I say, okay, how you eat. They say, well, I eat pretty good. I eat fish, I eat chicken, and as soon as they tell me that, if the first thing you make mention to me about your good eating habits is that you eat a dead carcass, I'm like, whoa, you know what? You need to re-look. Let's go back to the scriptures and tell me about the food that goes above the ground that has a seed in it. That should be one of the first things that you make mention of.
What is some of the food you could recommend?
Oh, well, and that's always an interesting question when a person say that. There are so many, and when I'm asked it, I like to talk about the ones that they don't know about, but the things that we do know about. I like to ask, what foods is it that do not grow above the ground that you find yourself gravitated towards? Because when you talk about peaches and pears, and you have different type. These are the basics. There's different type of apples, but I like to eat things that are a little bit different. So I like to explore So when you talk about things like jicama, cherimoya, avocados are great.
I like those.
And then I like seed vegetation because that also grows above the ground, and it also has seeds. So when we talk about leafy vegetation like dulse or kelp or bladderwrack or Irish moss, there's a plethora of different foods out there. It's just that we live in a world that we're just so limited, and so all we see out in the grocery stores and supermarkets are just the basics: seedless oranges, seedless grapes, seedless watermelons, and for the most part, that's the extent of people's, base for food, and unfortunately, it's just so much more than that.
So you could go to, Trader Joe's or Whole Foods to get some of the jicamas, avocados, and the grapes that you're talking about, not the normal food grocery store?
Well, you'd be surprised. The stores in the Mexican or Latino neighborhoods, they actually have nopal cactus. You'll be surprised because I live in the Oak Park area here in Chicago, and I'm blessed to be able to have like a lot of different stores in just a 1 mile radius. So I can go to the Aldi's and find something. I can go to Myers and find something, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and then there's even other markets that's around. So all you got to do is just go into those sections, and you'll be surprised what's in those sections. But it really comes with having a plan and having some sort of meal plan that you want to just experiment with.
Hey, Sherwood, can you share that information with us so we can share it to our listeners, especially the stuff that you're talking about getting, because a lot of the things that you were talking about, I ain't never heard of.
Yeah, a lot of that I haven't
and so
either.
I think it's
Right.
people perish because of lack of knowledge. I think if we could have some of the information we could share with people, then we can have them eating healthier and more holistic.
You know what though?
I totally agree.
I missed something, Sherwood. Did you say 4 hours a week exercise or
4 hours a week?
A week, not a day. I mean,
not a day, not at all.
Like a lot.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
So, Sherwood, I'm gonna stop you. You got a place where you can help people do this, right?
I do. I do have a location in the West Loop. I do have a location that I train out of John Hall Studios, 310 in South Racine in the West Loop. And not only that, I am a solution-oriented person. So some of the foods, I have a nutritional beverage called the Nezru Elixir. And the Nezru Elixir, it has a proprietary blend that I come together with some of those foods, the bladderwrack, the Irish moss, the kelp, the shilajit, the dulse, the mecca roots, the lucuma, and this powder blend is taken, and then I blend it with almonds, dates, raisins, figs, ginger, cinnamon, and maple syrup, and it comes with this great tasting drink that will nourish the body. Start the day off with it. You can have it as a snack because it's sweetened, and you can have it as dessert, but then I have my clients to implement it as a feast program that's all they drink for a 1, 3, or 5 day commitment. Oh, wow. So they'll just drink that. You make it fresh, or you can buy the powder, and I give the recipe. You can make it yourself if you got a good blender. And I'll be having some other options. I'm working with a brand new website that should be up and running in another month at the latest. But my SherwoodGrant.com is up right now, and I talk about some of those foods. But then I also, besides having the nutritional beverage that's an easy quick start, I have a cleanse program. Well, I don't want to say cleanse. I have a nutritional program, a 5-3-1 flush is what it's called, and that is a 5-day program that you use an alkaline cookbook, and it gives you the meals, gives you the recipes. All you got to do is choose which one you want to eat, and so you use the alkaline cookbook with other powders that I have into the kit, and you're on a program for 5 days, and then you're off of it for 5 days, and then you get back on it for 5 days, off in the last cycle, the third cycle, on it for 5 days again. So the 5-3-1 is a 5-day, 3-cycle program, and you get educated because you get exposed to some foods that you probably never heard before, and you get a chance to try some recipes that are exciting and taste really good, but then at the end of it all, you get a chance to have a better you.
Yeah.
So those are 2 programs, and then the last that I have is my Sal Smooth program, which is a 28-day challenge to consume a salad and a smoothie, consuming both, before noon time. Now, at noon, you can have whatever you want, but the challenge is to consume both the salad and the smoothie before 12, but at noon, you can have anything you want, and the rest of the day, you can have anything you want. I'm not focused on that
Okay,
whatsoever.
Sherwood, you said you can have anything you want. So far, listening to you,
Correct.
I'm thinking, is he a vegetarian,
That's my
a
question
vegan?
too, Brandon.
Now, anything we want might consist of that dead carcass later. Is that okay for us to have that, as long as we have the salad and the smoothie early?
The way this program is, and it's so successful because of this, there is no focus on that anything. When I say anything, whatever your conscience draws you to at 12 noon, go forward. My whole objective is to turn on your eliminative system, to turn on your system that eliminates food, because the biggest issue with a lot of people while they're sick is because they got a lot of toxins blocked up into their body, so they swell. They get swollen. They're putting on excess weight. There's some sort of blockage that's taking place. There's sort of constipation. So if you can start at least turning on your eliminative system to be strong and get things out, I guarantee you will not yearn for the lot of foods that you think you would yearn for.
Sure.
A lot of people just got a bunch of toxins and worms in their system asking for a bunch of sugar that you really don't want, but your body is craving it because you're hosting a lot of parasites.
Quick question, Sherwood. I'm getting a lot of questions about this meat. I'm assuming you do not eat meat, correct?
You assume wrong.
Oh, okay, because that was the question. How much meat do you eat, and how did you pull yourself back? Like, how often do you eat it, and how did you kind of pull yourself back off of eating it so often?
Okay. Well, I've always been one not gravitating towards scavengers. So I'm a very spiritual person. So the outline in the Bible, not eating scavenger because they are filthy, because they are unclean, that principle I hold tight. You know, I don't eat any scavengers, any shellfish, anything that is programmed to eat dead things to clean the earth. So the scavengers of the sky, scavengers of the lakes, of the oceans, and the seas. So I choose not to eat that.
Okay.
Second, I never had a yearning to eat meat at every meal. That is such, in most countries, that's not what they do. Here in America, we eat way too much meat. So not eating a meat at every meal became easy once you start to cleanse the body. And then when I do eat meat, I would encourage an individual, let's say you do have chicken for lunch, then have chicken for dinner also. Don't eat several different types of meat in one day, because none of the other mammals do, or none of the animals that actually eat meat does. They a lion, if you kill a zebra, he's not trying to get a buffalo later on.
Yeah.
Hey, they're going to digest that one type of meat.
We got to go to a commercial break. We're going to keep them on because this is some interesting information. We're going to go to commercial break real quick. We've got Sherwood Grant on us talking about holistic health, and it's been very interesting, so we'll bring him back for about a few minutes after these commercial breaks.